All right, example 7. So right now we're looking at finding a cubic equation, given the roots of the equation. Now, example 7 says, given the cubic equation ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d is equal to 0, that this cubic equation has the roots 2, 3, and 4. We're asked to find a, b, c, and d. All right, so in order for us to find a, b, c, and d, essentially we have to find the equation. Now, if the roots of a cubic equation are given, the equation is x cubed minus the sum of the roots. So it's sum of roots x plus the sum of the product of the roots 2 at a time. So this is sum of product of roots 2 at a time x minus the product of the roots. Is equal to 0. So that being said, the equation ax cubed plus bx plus cx plus d, that equation ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d would be equal to x cubed minus the sum of the roots. So that would be 2 plus 3 plus 4x plus the product of the roots 2 at a time. So it's 2 times 3 plus 2 times 4 plus 3 times 4 x minus the product of the roots, which would be 2 times 3 times 4 is equal to 0. So this would be x cubed minus 5 plus 4 is 9x squared. There should be a square here. Plus, this would be 6 plus 8 plus 12 x minus 24 is equal to 0. So this is x cubed minus 9x squared plus 26x minus 24 is equal to 0. So that being said, I can now say that a is equal to 1. So the x squared coefficient on the left is equal to the x cubed coefficient on the left is equal to the x cubed coefficient on the right. So a is 1. B would be equal to minus 9. The x square coefficient on the left is equal to the x square coefficient on the right. C would be equal to 26, and D would be equal to minus 24. Resuming recording. All right, so the next question is example 8. Example 8 says, find the cubic equation where the roots are 1/2, -1, and 2. All right, so again, example 8 says, find the cubic equation where roots are 1/2, -1, and 2. All right, earlier we said that if the roots of a cubic equation are known, the equation is x cubed minus the sum of the roots. So that's minus the sum of the roots, which is minus a half. Which is a half plus minus 1 plus 2. So minus the sum of the roots x squared plus the product of the roots 2 at a time. So this is going to be a half times minus 1 plus, so it's the sum of the product of the roots 2 at a time plus a half times 2 plus minus 1 times 2 x minus the product of the roots, so it's minus a half times minus 1 times 2, and this is equal to 0. So essentially this is our answer, but we just need to simplify it. So this is x cubed. You can always just put these values in your calculator and press equal. That would make it a lot easier. So a half minus 1. So that would be minus a half plus 2. That would be what? 1.5, which is minus a half, a half minus 1 is minus a half. Minus a half plus 2 is 1.5, which is 3/2. So this is 3/2 x squared. Now over here we have plus minus a half plus 1 minus 2 x, and then a negative times a negative is a positive. A half times 1 is a half, and a half times 2 is 1, is equal to 0. This is x cubed plus 3/2 x squared. Now in the middle, we have minus a half plus 1. That is a half. Now a half minus 2 is minus 1.5, which is minus 3/2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Let's make the let's eliminate the fractions by multiplying the entire equation by 2, and we're going to get 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. All right, so there's one little error on this, so let's fix it. I think this should have been a minus here, so it should be a minus here and a minus here. So we should have a negative here, and negative here. All right, so we were asked to find the cubic equation where the roots are a half, minus 1, and 2, and that equation is 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. Example 9. Now, example 9 is asking us to find the cubic equation where where roots are 1/alpha plus 1/beta plus 1/gamma, and where alpha, beta, and gamma are the roots of 3x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 1. All right, so example 9, how are we going to start? The first thing we need to do is to get some data on alpha, beta, gamma, which we can get. So I'm going to start by dividing our cubic equation by 3 to make the x cubed coefficient 1. So this is going to be x cubed minus 1 over 3 x squared minus 2 over 3x plus 1/3. And this would be equal to, remember, for this equation, the roots are alpha, beta, and gamma. So this equation is actually equal to x cubed minus alpha plus beta plus gamma x squared plus alpha beta alpha gamma beta gamma x minus alpha beta gamma. And so alpha plus beta plus gamma would be equal to 1/3. Alpha beta plus alpha gamma plus beta gamma would be, which is the x coefficient on the right, is equal to the x coefficient on the left, which is minus 2/3. And minus alpha beta gamma is equal to 1/3. And so alpha beta gamma is equal to minus 1/3. All right. Now, what we're being asked to do now is to find the equation, the cubic equation whose roots are 1 over alpha, 1 over beta, and 1 over gamma. So the equation would be x cubed minus the sum of the roots. So that's 1 over alpha plus 1 over beta plus 1 over gamma x squared minus the sum of the product of the roots. Sorry, that's plus the sum of the product of the roots 2 at a time. So it's 1 over alpha times 1 over beta plus 1 over alpha 1 over gamma plus 1 over beta 1 over gamma x minus the product of the roots 1 over alpha 1 over beta 1 over gamma is equal to 0. So let's simplify. This is x cubed minus, let's make this into one fraction, alpha beta gamma. Alpha into alpha beta gamma is beta gamma. Beta into alpha beta gamma is alpha gamma. And gamma into alpha beta gamma is alpha beta. And this is x squared plus, down here, the roots are still alpha beta gamma. Sorry, the LCM is alpha beta gamma. Now, alpha beta into alpha beta gamma is just gamma. Alpha gamma into alpha beta gamma is beta. And beta gamma into alpha beta gamma is alpha x. And lastly, minus 1 over alpha beta gamma is equal to 0. Simplifying, this is x cubed minus, now alpha, this is the sum of the roots, the sum of the product of the roots 2 at a time. So this would be minus 2 over 3 over the product of the roots, which is minus 1 over 3. And this is x squared plus the sum of the roots, which is 1 over 3, divided by minus 1 over 3x minus 1 over minus 1 over 3 is equal to 0. And essentially our job is to just simplify this without making an error. It's not necessarily difficult. This is x cubed minus 2/3 divided by 1/3 is actually just 2. X squared. 1/3 divided by 1/3, a positive divided by a negative is a negative. 1/3 divided by 1/3 is 1. So that's 1x, which is just x. And minus a negative times a negative is a positive. And 1 divided by 1/3 is actually equal to 3. So our final answer, the equation with roots 1 over alpha, 1 over gamma, 1 over beta is x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 3.